Good evening, sir. So my topic reporting is all about the ethical hacking, one of the emerging field of the law enforcement. So, what is ethical hacking? Ethical hacking, sometimes called as penetration testing, is an act of intruding, penetrating into system or networks to find out threats, vulnerabilities in those systems which a malicious attacker may find and exploit, cause, causing loss of data, financial loss, or other major damages. So, a certified penetration tester with a full of knowledge of all parties involved, they typically under contract to perform the audit. Business, commerce, financial transactions, records, and communication are almost all web or cloud-based now. Hackers utilize their skills to bypass safety protocols and enter secure networks to install malicious software or steal money, goods, and sensitive information. So they can change records, exploit weaknesses, and otherwise wreak havoc on business, computer users, and society in general. To defend against hackers, qualified penetration testers are being employed to ward off attacks and protect critical data infrastructure. In fact, according to MarketWatch, the demand for ethical hacker is increasing as cyber attacks become more catastrophic to large-scale organizations. So, what is the purpose of ethical hacking? The purpose of ethical hacking is to improve the security of the network or system by fixing the vulnerabilities found during testing. So, ethical hackers may cause the same methods and tools used by the malicious hackers, but with the permission of the authorized person for the purpose of improving the security and defending the systems from attacks by malicious users. So, why do people hack? Hackers are those who use a computer system to obtain unauthorized access to another system for data, or those who make another system unavailable. So these hackers use their skills for a particular goal, such as gaining fame by bringing down a computer system, stealing money, or making network unavailable. So, some hackers focus only on gaining notoriety or defeating computer systems, and some could even have criminal intentions. The knowledge gained by the hackers and the self-esteem boost that originates from successful hacking could, could become an addiction and a way of life. So, some of hackers just aim at making your life miserable, whereas others just want to be seen or heard. Some common reasons, uh, some common reasons for hacking is include basic bragging rights, curiosity, revenge, boredom, challenge, thief or financial gain, sabotage, vandalism, corporate espionage, blackmail, and extortion. Hackers are known to regularly cite these reasons to explain their behavior. So, the reason why do hackers hack? So, first is server disruption. So, the server disruption attacks have just one aim in mind, which is to shut down or render a specific website useless. So, my explanation uh, about it is a it is considered to be one of the most uh, popular forms of server disruption attacks. So in simple terms, DD, DDoS attacks are those that occur when a hacker seizes control over a network of zombie computers called a botnet. The botnet is used as an army of middle-list zombies to endless ping a particular web server to overload a website and eventually shut it down. So the next is the monetary loss. So and the next is the monetary loss. So the monetary loss is online banking has become uh, popular and has been a revelation. However, the benefits of it is to have their drawbacks. So my explanation about this is the online banking has paved the way for cyber thieves or digitally steal from you by inserting banking trojans or malicious lines of the code specially designed for stealing money from you. Next is the vulnerability scanning. So the vulnerability scanning is a security technique employed for identifying security weaknesses in a computer system. So my explanation about it is this security measures is mostly used by network administrators for obvious security reasons. However, hackers can also infiltrate this security method to gain unauthorized access. So those opening the door to other infiltration tactics and motivations. Vulnerability scanning is essentially considered to be the gateway to additional attacks. And the next is the unauthorized code execution. So, the unauthorized code execution motives can be a bit of complicated. So, typically, hackers aim at infecting a users with malware to take control of said users' computers via the execution of code of commands. So, my explanation about it is uh, the this powerful form of hacking permits hackers to take complete control of the victim's computer, running on and can be one of the first steps of turning a user's computer into a zombie or a bot. So those the very aspects of processing unprecedented access can lead to an unlimited number of suspicious activities. A hacker can be accomplished without even a trace or being caught. And the next is, what are the key concepts of ethical hacking? So, number one, stay legal. Stay legal, obtain proper approval before accessing and performing a security assessment. So, number two, define the scope. So, it is determine the scope of assessment so that the ethical hackers work remains legal and within the organization's approved boundaries. And also number three, reporting vulnerabilities. Notify the organization of all vulnerabilities discovered during the assessment. It is to provide the remediation advice for resolving these vulnerabilities. And also number four is respect data sensitivity. So, depending on that data sensitivity, ethical hackers may have to agree to a non-disclosure agreement. In addition to other terms and conditions required by the assist organizations. So, the difference between ethical hackers and malicious hackers. Ethical hackers use their knowledge to secure and improve the technology of organizations. They provide an essential service to these organizations by looking for vulnerabilities that can lead to a security breach. So, malicious hackers intend to gain unauthorized access to resource for financial gain or personal recognition. So, some malicious hackers deface websites or crash back-end servers for fun, reputation damage, or to cause financial loss. So next is, what skills and certification should an ethical hacker obtain? So all ethical hackers should have expertise and scripting languages. Number 2, proficiency in operating systems. Number 3, thorough knowledge of networking. And number 4, a solid foundation in the principles of information security. So, some of the most well-known and required certifications include EC Council Certificate Ethical Hacking Certification. Number 2, Offensive Security Certified Professional, or the OSCP certification. Number 3, CompTIA Security. And the number 3 is CISPOS or CCNA Security. And number 5 is SANS GIEC. So next is, what problems does hacking identify? So ethical hacking aims to mimic an attacker. So in doing so, they look for attack vectors against the target. The essential goal is to perform reconnaissance, gaining as much information as possible. So, once ethical hacker gathers enough information, they use it to look for vulnerabilities against the asset. So they perform assessment with a combination of automated and manual testing. Even sophisticated systems may have complex countermeasure technologies which may be vulnerable. So they don't stop for uncovering vulnerabilities. Ethical hackers use exploits against the vulnerabilities to prove how a malicious attacker could exploit it. So the next is, some of the most common vulnerabilities discovered by ethical hackers include: number 1, injection attacks. Number 2, broken authentication. Number 3, security misconfigurations. And number 4, use of components with known vulnerabilities. And the lastly is the sensitive data exposure. So, what are some limitations of ethical hacking? So, number 1 is the limited scope. So, what is limited scope? Ethical hackers cannot progress behind a defined scope to make an attack successful. However, it's not unreasonable to discuss out-of-scope attack potential with the organization. And the next is resource constraints. So the malicious hackers don't have time con- constraints that ethical hackers often face. Computing power and budget are additional constraints of ethical hackers. So the lastly is restricted methods. So some organizations ask experts to avoid these cases that lead the servers to crash or denial of service or DOS attacks. And there are 10 ways on how to protect your information. And number 1, determine the installed operating system. So, my explanation about it is, if you decide to change the OS, you will need to a bootable USB drive capable of overriding your current OS boot process. So, you may also need to reformat the hard drive to use the new OS. Before deciding to replace the existing OS, consider that it is closely aligned with the hardware. Furthermore, the developers of all operating systems are constantly upgrading the program to foil hackers and correct minor programming errors. So, changing the OS may not be worth at that time an effort. It resolved to complete the process. Number 2 is keep your OS up to date. So, we should be aware of the recent patches and fixes recommended by the OS vendor. Regularly install the latest updates to protect against new malware. So run the latest OS version on your cell phone. Check for updates automatically if the option is available. So number 3 is review the privacy settings on your device. So I have based on my explanation is a developers are constantly upgrading users control privacy and security settings on hardware. Security Intelligence recommends 9 tips for Windows 10 users, and Macro World provides similar tips for an Apple operating system. So, some experts recommended the My Permissions tools as an easy solution to check your permissions settings as multitude of apps. Receive reminders to clean undesired or out-of-date permissions with mobile-friendly apps, and get alert with apps access your confidential information so that you can remove them with a single click. And number 4 is enable remote location and device wiping for mobile devices. So, if your gadget is lost or stolen, tracking apps can tell you exactly where it is. These apps also let you um, wipe sensitive information remotely. So, if your phone does end up landing, if your phone does end up landing in the wrong hands, you can at least make sure that don't get information, says Kim Commando, host of a popular radio show about technology. And the number 5, install antivirus and anti-spy software. So, um, my explanation about it is, while some software programs claim to have both anti-spy and antivirus capabilities, so most experts recommend a layered approach, multiple programs that run by side to catch tricks. Be aware that no antivirus or anti-spy program will provide 100% protection. So, so the number 7 is select a secure browser. So, um, based on my idea, browsers have various security and privacy settings that you should review and set to the level you desire. For example, most browsers give you the ability to to delimit websites tracking of your movements, increasing your privacy and security. So, the number 8 is practice good password habits. So, my idea about it is um, password passwords are frequently the only one thing to protect your private information from prying eyes. So, useless unless you you suspect your information on has been exposed, there is there is no need to change password if you use a strong password initially. So, and the number 9 is exercise good browsing habits. So, um, while the benefits of the internet are incalculable, the risk for the the unwary are high. So, when browsing the internet, take the following steps to minimize the possibility that your data might be compromised, and ensure that the website you visit is secure. While a bit slower to type, most computer professionals believe the extra security is worth in inconvenience. And black pop-up ads. So, pop-up ads are a favorite avenue for hackers to gain access to your computer. So, 3. Visit, uh, uh, never visit questionable websites. If you're not sure if a site secure, verify it first with online site checking services such as Norton Safe Web. So, never run pirated software. Hackers use attractive and free prices on software to attack the traffic. So, you need to download from trusted sources. So, always scan for malware before opening any new software or files. If you are concerned on that a site is used for phishing, enter an incorrect password. So when when using a Wi-Fi, connect uh, connect your local cafe. Always assume someone is eavesdropping on security measures. So the lastly is the number 10. Perform regular backups. So when we say perform regular backups, it may be an expensive asset. Uh, it may be is expensive asset. It is replaceable. However, the data and personal records on your computer may be difficult or impossible to replace unless you take steps to protect yourself from hardware failure or cyber intrusions. There is always the possibility that something will destroy your data. So that's all of my report, sir. Thank you.